that are going to be looking to head towards champs, but also that are currently fighting to lift that trophy. It's a beautiful one that's on the line this year as well, and Aspas hoisted it last year too as part of Loud, winning in the International League here in Americas. What a place to begin on Icebox. I think the map pool in general looking great for Leviathan.
It's going to be a standard affair, you know, nothing out of the ordinary. At least as we set the sights over towards Icebox as well. And G2, we already know what they're going to be up to. Always methodical, always cautious at the beginning of these rounds. Don't want to give away any of these advantages. Just trying to bait out a potential approach and peek for the information.
Look at Leviathan, though. They've realized that this is a group up over towards the A side very early on. You've got King and Mazzino pushing out B. Broken turret.
So the Utah's going to be unloaded here. Flashed up towards the back of the site. Tex could not evacuate, couldn't evade it. Jonah P as well is going to cement himself into this 4 position. And the flank is given up entirely from LEV. They're actually going to be regrouping back up together, just trying to play this one forwards. But again, Aspas is committed, catches the cross pass and away. There was no trade in sight. Unconventional, really, from G2. Expect that to be really the building blocks of this team. Biding their time now, waiting to regroup as the Util is now back online, sending it flying forwards, and the fight is caught by G2 out towards the back of the site. Icy even just lucky just to get the one. Jonah P and Trent, and accounted for. Off to the side themselves, Aspas dropping down and just cannot land it. Not with a share of bullets going wildly. And now in the favor of G2, a pistol round win.
And it's Jonah P that picks up 3 to put G2's pistol round on the board. Jonah P was playing phenomenally in Shanghai and then coming forwards just in the game yesterday, where Icy cooled off ever so slightly compared to his excellent performance that we'd recently seen. But Jonah, undetected, uncleared, picked up all of the crucial players there. And this one, a rematch of the last time that Leviathan have lost to an Americas team, actually, way back. Stage 1 playoffs, lower bracket final. G2 were winning all of the pistols there. 9 out of 10 in our BO5 went the way of G2. It was still an extremely close match.
For sure, these teams are closely matched even now, right? Titan to test this Leviathan team. G2, I mean, haven't been getting a lot of respect often, but with every win that they accrue, you're going to start respecting them a little bit more.
It's undeniable at this point. I don't think there's many people that would even argue that G2 are not a top 2 team in Americas. Look at the depth that LEV has been able to get. This 4-1 default where you send LEV forwards. And G2 have been running this after winning the pistol almost every single time they've played. It's still finding value for them. It's just a very solid strategy.
Up and over. Open sight. Really just a fight to be taken and one out there. Obviously only committing towards the pistol. Swing from Mazzino, just seeking if he can deny the plan or at least potentially get that pick off that he was looking for. But as the investment relatively minor. Aspas is worried about the incoming possibility of a flank. I think that was just pressure being laid in by Trent. Now going to be rotating that to the back of his team. They are low, but leaving it just down to Aspas now. Still, could do quite a lot from this spot. Still worried.
Icy has a Bulldog, 1 away from Thrash. A kill or a death gets that online. And G2 would be looking phenomenal for the bonus round. Will Aspas provide?
Yeah, a little bit of hip fire action. He'll be able to clean up maybe a kill or 2. Rounds going to be lost at this point though. Time running far too low, so G2 going to be up that too.
But that does mean that Icy's got to play for an ult orb in the next round, and Leviathan can try to craft some strategies around denying that. It's difficult when G2 plays so slowly. If you're looking to try to fight on both outer extremities of the map on defense, you're going to get overstretched. I also think it's a really interesting map pool that we've got here today, Brent.
Yeah.
G2 choosing to attack into Leviathan's bind as our second map, rather than seeing what they've got prepped on Abyss. G2 also choosing to end, I believe, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, on Haven rather than Ascent. It sent me for a loop there, what we've got in the top left.
I'll have to double check. We will have to double check that one, but pretty sure it was Haven. Aspas, early fight and engagement for him. He's going to be opted into that straight away. Does draw blood with LEV dropping. No one's being pushed back away from this though. G2 still want to commit. The drone up and over, missing the tag. Aspas will always be keen to disrespect you.
Right here.
Gonna try and take those fights forward and often, especially with a rifle in hand. Dart has to be dodged and avoided as well. It's off angle, spraying him down, expecting that re-peek. And it's all in the back of his mind. He knows exactly the positions to be playing. 3 in the round already for him.
And dodge on the thrash too, so not even getting punished by that.
He's been leading most those statistical metrics, but finally shut down in the moment.
Chose to make the play there that could have ended the round instantly, but he's left his team in a 2v2.
Don't get me wrong, a lot of damage done to Icy here. In this spot, Jonah P. Gonna be the one to take that first contact. Again, there's so many healthy targets though. Half armored at one shot from the elbow would do it, Tix! He survives, lands those shots up, leaves it alone to Icy in this 1v2. A quick tap as well. Icy, issue not being forced out. ADS stub, damage done, but he doesn't really have the gun or the weaponry for it. Again, just has to peek out, jiggle, and he's just on a sliver of health. It's enough to be guarded over the shoulder by Tex. The fuse online. 2-1 being that scoreline. Lev finally with that round on the board.
It's a pretty damaging bonus. G2 had chances to win it. They invest in ultimate, but end up doing a lot of economical damage too. I think Lev will be happy to have just survived that. And once more, it's Aspas that delivers the crucial kills to put his team in a winnable situation. With that economic damage done, and Leaf is anticipating people being on light armor on the other side, it's actually only King.
Playing for the orb as well, Aspas. Just to earn up the Blade Storm. Big group over G2. It's all 5 of them. Nobody holding! Mazzino applying constant pressure. The Phantom spam stun punishable. Earns himself a cheeky one. It's a nice one to set the scene. G2 still going to be pushing up though. Updraft over the top, Aspas! Claiming one after another. Dropping any adversary that steps to him. And he wants to just take away any possibilities of the G2 win. That's dominance, overwhelming aggression by Leviathan.
So beautifully played. You'd think that with the pace, the slower tempo that G2 play at, they actually wouldn't even be offering Aspas those opportunities. But a couple of people just to the right side of yellow, and Aspas is able to pick one off. And then as he dashes away from that extra swing, he plays Mazzino in.
Spike down, B.
Beautifully done there. And those are the kind of rounds that Leviathan have been pulling out against everybody in the league, where they just look dominant. Like there's nothing you can do to stop them. Unless you're taking out Aspas instantly, he's getting kills and also making so much space for the rest to trade off.
He's going to take these liberties. Outlaw in his hands. Oh, nice return on the fire.
That's what you have to be doing. Otherwise, Aspas is going to push further and further, test those boundaries.
Doesn't get away with it, does he? Leaf is also quite eager. This guy tagged up though, have to stop himself. Head's barely poking over. Slight exchange of the bullets. Repositioned though, these Lev players. Com is pretty hard committed off to the corner here. Players are being picked apart. I was up through mid with Mazzino dropping down. All it's going to be asked for. They are falling apart actually. Leviathan, Tex. A little bit of AD in terms of the rifle play on hand. He's going to do a lot now to try and push this one back. Flash over as a pause to score, but they don't expect this position already. Valen crept his way up even deeper onto these sightlines. Plan can now go online, picking up the orb, no time, but that one's still dropping. King sensing it. There's definitely chances, can't adjust it. No with the rifle, and a thrifty win for G2 puts them back in a driving seat.
What a round to pick up. Is that the difference it makes when you're able to take out Aspas early on and prevent him from going on a tear against you? It was an insane shot that Leaf hits. I mean, look at that. Yeah. Reacting to an unexpected position and being able to clean it up, and then the rest of the team is able to go forward with Sheriffs. Important final kill there as well from Jonah P, who continues to have huge impact. Does that temper the level of aggression that Aspas is showing, or just cause him to double down?
Backing away for now. Doesn't want anything to do with it.
So G2 got punished for throwing this cascade over towards B in a prior round. Mazzino just spammed through it, got a kill out the back of it. This time, Valen throws it, nobody following behind it, making it feel like it could be B pressure. But the thing that Lev do so well on the defense sides against every team is that they're always more curious than other people. They don't give the respect to attacking utility. If they don't hear anything, they go and have a look. And King had some decent idea that it wasn't serious pressure on B.
Spotting ahead there, I believe, of Icy with the drone, but you're right. I mean,
It's just going to keep the stack in the right place on A.
yeah. That conversation about, the defensive setups by Leviathan, one of the better teams for it. Dash, no value to be gained by Aspas. He was expecting a timing to be taken, but G2 are always ones just to be quite quirky with it. Never expected when they're going to be hitting it through, and now though, a mosh pit, Hunger of Reckoning, it's a big indicator. Alongside the flash as well, it's all being sent flying forwards. Hunter's Fury, this is the respawn. Com, he's looking for a kill or two, at least gets the one time trip, still avoiding it. And would have stand his ground against it, and now the flood is caught. Lev, who would have played this one with the bodies into the fight and the fray, taking it forwards, past and away, still. It's a kill feed that is filling entirely up Wingman. No spike into his hands. They slow it down once more, calling for it with only 12 seconds onto the clock. It's left it just down to Com.
10 seconds
He's the one who's got to respond to all of this pressure. Shock darts flying forwards, Cove. Just denying any sort of bullets that fly forwards. A 1v3, Thrash is avoided. Spotting the head, spotting the bullets. Looking for a kill or two. This is chaos incarnate. He's dropped down to 5 HP. Barely any weaponry. And Valen is the one to clean it up.
What a masterful call there, and usage of the clock by Valen again. The pause in the round, the pump fake, that drawing in of the Leviathan retake, and G2 so ready for it, punishing all of those slight, minimal overextensions. These pushes back in from the retakers, they're not that much overstepping themselves, but when Aspas and Mazzino swing, they're taken piece by piece apart by the G2 players, ready for that. And Lev, go into a timeout here because you would expect one of them to be saving up for that operator. G2 with an opportunity to start building up to some massive ultimates of their own. Leafs and Trents are almost destined to come online at the end of this round. Cascade starts in the opposite direction there for Valen, as if they're taking early A control, and in fact, just waiting to punish any B aggression on the eco.
Yeah.
At the same time, heading into a bit of a stack here from Lev.
Lev are just trying to make sure that they hide their intent. Just being spotted, that's Mazzino. Only one that fires a couple of bullets as well. Gone for a bit of a re-peek of his own as Util out into the hands of multiple players here. But he does overstep himself in the end, and the weaponry just not quite good to follow up and through. So Mazzino will be dropped. Spotting signs of life from them. Out in the open, Aspas. Again, he was hoping that somebody would just walk straight into that crosshair. Pulling multiple players now. Lev losing control of the A site.
But look at Leviathan looking to try to re-peek again. Always looking to see whether G2's attacking utility is real or not. Does it have a serious threat behind it? Other G2 players looking to go forward. I mean, look at both teams expecting something from the other. G2 ready for this re-aggression.
Both going for it for the same time. Just again, spotting these players out. They all topple and fall.
What a read.
Yeah,
G2. Absolutely immaculate read.
And you're seeing the stylistic difference just kind of, I think, made manifest in this map. And you probably see it in many others as well, as we get into this series. But G2 will always just try and pull you. They'll try and pull you in, going for that mid-round information. That proactivity, Lev, they won't shy away from it. Often they're going to get rewarded for playing aggressively, pushing Aspas into deep positions. Normally, nobody can hold a candle to it.
And of course, if Leviathan don't go for those defensive re-clears, that's where Valen thrives, because he ends up having so much more information in the late round. If you just give ground and aren't willing to take the risk of walking back into areas, then you might as well not be playing the game. You're just going to allow G2 to run all over you. So Lev have to find those risks, but they also have to find them at either unexpected timings or with excellent utility, or just when G2 are making that rotate to the other side of the map.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be not just a test for Valen's calling, but a serious test for Leviathan. They have not played against a team anywhere near as good as G2 since they got back from Shanghai.
Yeah, hard agree. I mean, this team, I think, they've been just trying to shake off those untested allegations almost. They've just been chasing them around because they've just been dealing with any of their competition.
Oh, they've been flattening.
I mean, they've been flattening everybody. It's 2-0s, the way that they've been cleaning up most of the competition. But, I don't think we saw the best crew the other day. So again, the allegations kind of stand. This time they are up against this heavy hitter in the form of G2, and so far punishing them. This is the important round here. And now, what the timeout was being called for Leviathan. Investment with the weaponry, operator in Aspas' hands, but a lot of ults for G2.
A Nanoswarm thrown there from Leaf, a very standard one onto pipes. When it gets broken, you're thinking, okay, maybe somebody's playing aggressive in that kind of area. Aspas, in fact, on top of Jenny, looking for a pick. And Valen seems to have got the read on it again, just because that early utility was broken on A. They're headed towards a B split, and this is going to catch King under huge amount of pressure.
Yeah, already walking up straight into him as well. King, just the one before the trade comes online again. Might have spotted those players just before he dropped lockdown. That is incredibly committed. Many angles you're going to have to defend into that spot as well. I mean, Icy's like, all right, mate, I'm leaving you to your own devices.
But at the same time, look how far back the defenders are. No contest possible for the plant. And even getting into a retake position is very difficult. So many spots you have to clear.
Every single step of the way. Leviathan can't get a foothold, man. They cannot stand against this. Still, Mazzino will make a good go of it. But again, it's a retake scenario. Aspas is working with that operator. He's going to slow them down once more. All that time that's been bought. Backing away, Trent also with his Hunter's Fury in his back pocket, and you can already hear it. Spike's ticking away. Options removed and limited. It doesn't matter about the Cove that's placed down as well. Can be defended against it. Valin cleaning up Mazzino, drifting off to the side. Aspas, he's eager to pick up that operator again, save it into the next.
But that's a perfect round.
It is.
Lev had 3 or 4 players over towards A. I don't think Valen's got a real reason for dying there, but the economy's in a good spot, so it doesn't matter too much. But they had 3 or 4 players over towards the A side, including Aspas Operator, that they've scrimped and saved just to get it into his hands. And instantly, G2 have found the weak side of the map, run a B split, and had control over huge, vast swaths of real estate. There was no opportunity for Lev to win. No opportunity for Aspas to have his impact.
It's like an awkward scenario where Aspas carrying the operator into the next. Everybody has to invest up alongside him because at this point the game is getting away from them.
He's doing something very different here, though. You don't often see him playing in these kind of angles, getting droned down mid early on.
Yeah, push.
So he's in front of the Viper Orb.
Turret's been broken. G2 might have been receiving a lot of this one here. They might want to speed up into it, but the pits drop down, layered now over towards this A site. And again, that pause has been inserted whether G2 want it or not.
Harbor Ult was just picked up there instead of the Thrash, so that makes it a bit more difficult to deal with King. You can use Harbor Ult against it, and look at Aspas in front of the Viper Orb in mid. Tough to deal with.
Here.
Oh, he didn't choose a timing to go for the shot.
That's awareness stuff from G2. They know that they lost control of mid prior, obviously with the turret being broken.
And also the drone being used. I think Com's drone a bit of a tell.
Now going for another re-exploration, double dub. So many players ready to receive. It's G2 again. They bait and punish and pulling them back. And Aspas is just forced back and away. Mazzino has got to do a ton and more. 2 are dropped down in the process. Spike in the hands of Wingman back. Open! Oh, just about got it. Right before the Cove ended up being propped up.
30 seconds left.
Receiving that one back and again. Dart reveals it, 2 versus 2. Valin is low. Plant online though, backs himself away again. Reckoning now available for this post plant.
I suggest you move.
It's going to be used nice and early. Just to buy them a bit of that time as well. Nobody wants to reveal themselves too early from G2, just making sure that they play this one safe.
Poison orb emitting.
Orb up,
No charges left.
putting the pressure now, at least with that tap.
player
King,
standing.
no. Eats a ton of damage in the process of it. Leaves it down to Aspas. Noise being made from the footsteps. Quick little tap, cutting it away. He's baiting out the peak and the response from G2. They do hand him the one, but still time is running short. Brings it down to it, and it's ice cold from Trent. The dart reveals all. He knows he's won it. Time is on his side, and another round is inevitable. It's 7 now for G2.
I really don't think G2 could be playing much better with wall hacks on. The way in which they're rotating around the map on the attack side, finding the gaps, and understanding exactly when Lev are going to go for these defense reclears. We saw them catch the eco round defense reclear on B perfectly, all stacked up waiting for it. It's the same thing in mid again. As soon as the wall comes through and pushes Aspas away, their read on how Leviathan are playing the defense here is simple perfection.
At no point Leviathan are really able to get a foothold, stand up against most of this. Look at this util, all just being used to pressure and push away any attempt at the A orb. Thrash is also going to be used in conjunction, just trying to add up any potential impact to this one here. They do get the detainment, but there's no follow-up onto it. It's been defended, clearing a way through, up and over the ropes. There is a punish at least. Up through mid as well, looking for a bit of space. That's Jonah P. This first kill advantage, not going away at G2, but it hasn't stopped them in the past. Especially so into this map.
Jonah P is the insurance policy here. He's going to be able to give them information. Multiple players have rotated, turrets offline. You know, they can go back over to B. They know that Tex is nowhere near. Aztec starts to come back in. Jonah P's in front of the turret. Potential.
Stepped though, yeah, they might be able to see him just poking out and away. Oh, there's shots raining down onto him. Turret's still up. It's a worry in the back of the mind of Jonah P. He even just offloads the pit. This one's stretching off into spawn, man. Spam, straight bullets again. He's so damn weak. One single bullet potentially clear him. Icy out for the back as well. Wants to get aggressive and active into it. The fight to Aiken towards the back as well. It's a reckoning offloaded, but again the timing. It's picture perfect. You can't ask for much better gameplay than this. It's G2 running rings around this Leviathan. No time for them to catch their breath.
It's just beautiful there. If Jonah P ended up making a misstep and got caught in kitchen, okay, some part of it may have fallen to pieces, but the Professor finally falls, but he's done his damage, teaching Leviathan the holes that are rippling throughout their defensive setups. The over-rotate, the stack already on A, and then the over-rotate so that Texas Utility went offline. G2 exploiting to perfection. Even if the turret had not gone offline, Jonah already had info that B was pretty open and his team could start to make the cancel and the rotate. They're never locking themselves into only one decision. There are always options for Valorant to choose as a plan B, plan C.
Appreciate it.
They're completely dominating Leviathan in a way that we have not seen since LEV was at Shanghai. And I also don't think the LEV are falling to pieces here. This is just masterful from G2.
Yeah, the attack's like calling, I mean. It just feels unfair, I think. Leviathan's perspective, they're going to be wondering, man. Are they in the comms? Are they in the walls?
Right there.
I don't even know about all of this. Exploiting and abusing any possible options. Well, just a pre-fire. Aspas, he's been punished for a lot of these aggressive plays, and he's making a go of things again. Tex dropped down to just double digits of how fairly there. King also has to go for that re-aggression. He needs information. At least maintain a bit of control out towards an over B.
Finally, that defense exploration finds value, but King is still battling with Icy over towards B. This could be the round for LEV, despite losing Aspas early.
Got the odds to potentially turn the tide. Zeno needs to be careful. It's barely a shoulder peeking out. And just spraying it through. Jonah P wins it with the Phantom. Cove down now. That will commit the plant into the play. Util's going to be delayed here. And the Hunter's Fury just a little bit off the mark. It's a lockdown. Views alongside. It's still damage turn. Come! That is picture perfect as well. Lands that one right onto the mark as well. Just catching that rotation back and away. G2. Left now with just two of these players left to do the most.
Nanoswarm broken. Mosh still available.
And the wall fades away though. Com was not ready for it. Up and over on top of the ropes. No adjustment, at least with the rifle. Still damage done. Tex and King low enough.
Bad plan.
Man, the damage might do it. It is a bad plan indeed. Up and over the wall into his face. Dropping down, not favored. Still King gets off of it. There's a sticking down. He's expecting it! Oh, chaos in the cabin of the attack. King not trusting, not realizing perhaps. Did he even have time?
Thinking, I think he had time there. I mean, we'll have to watch it back from his POV perhaps, but the Red Bull clutch comes through no matter what. That one looked difficult for Icy. He doesn't have a great angle onto the diffuser, but I'm not sure that King understood exactly where Icy was. If he thinks perhaps that Icy's playing towards pipes, yeah, he might end up getting off that. First round where it looks like G2 have stolen it away from LEV rather than being in control the entire time. But we head back in. A slow beginning for G2. Thankfully, haven't missed too much, and Aspas posted up with an off.
Yeah, this Drono was going to be spotting him. He doesn't even break it in the process. Has to use the dash to get out of there. High tide. It's going to whip its way across towards that B side. Lockdown. There are no answers to this. LEV used all of them up just in that prior round. Didn't even go their way. LEV have no choice but to really respect this one here. Push back and away. Cove up now. Props it forwards. Hand down for the wingman. For the push it away. Aspas though, that's a nice one. It's just spam coming through, at least onto those long angles. Leviathan finally getting that advantage. The foothold that they were seeking, that we've been talking about this entire time. Now it's all about converting again. G2. Shock darts forwards, flying Util into the hands as a punishment. There and away and around still with that damage. He cannot be getting away with his G2. Not again. Not like this. It's an old turd. The Thrash. Just to push back and away here. Tex, he just cannot get down from the high ground. There's no safety there, just buying time and critical moments here for G2. Jump spotting, 7 bullets left, ticking away once more. Dominance, a masterclass finish to an almost impeccable attack side of G2. 10-2. They've made LEV look like a lost schoolboy.
Nobody has been able to touch the Leviathan icebox like this, and G2 have run away with it. I said earlier that LEV didn't look like they were playing badly, it was just G2 playing perfect. These last 2 rounds, we've seen big mistakes from Leviathan. I think the play on that retake and the amount of shots being missed here, honestly. Aspas with the up missing shots you wouldn't expect, and somehow allowing Jonah P and Icy to run away with things towards the end. Maybe there was a chance for LEV to pull things back earlier, but now I'm worried.
Yeah, this is a G2 that are hungry to half. It's their map pick of Icebox. And again, you know, the rumors that are swirling and circulating around this team about, you know, potentially have had quite an easy path here into the playoffs. Are they going to be able to beat the match of a team like G2? Right now, it's all G2.
LEV are going to need to pull out something special. Already, we've seen a bit of a different pistol round. 1-3-1 with pressure through mid. It's going to test G2's ideas.
Toxin screen down.
And end over towards A. Looks like a fairly empty site. I think from what I've seen in the last few months, there are very few, if any, IGLs that can match up against Valorant's attack side calling. I mean, and this is going to be a massive test for King today, whether he can look comparable.
Absolutely is. Valen, oh my, the timing on this is insane. High tide?
He thinks the turret's right there.
Yeah, potentially cuts it off a little bit early there. Still up and over the top as well. All this information Valen has been gaining. It's a full stack of G2. They've got all the bodies in the right places. Ready to just strike from behind. Valen is right there when his team needs it. The pressure and noise is all being made, and everybody following through and playing off with this one. Heroics in order. But King is the only one to step up to that site of challenge. And Jonah P in the end just can't be stopped, man. This entire squad.
Can I make the comparison to what would have happened if the sides were swapped there? Valen goes on the flank immediately as soon as he realizes that B pressure is a little bit faked through mid, and he just starts walking out B main. If the sides were swapped, and that was something that LEV had done on their defense, there'd be a G2 player waiting for them. The read would have already been there. That's the difference right now, is that G2 are ahead of all of the game plans, and LEV are not making the reads on what's happening on the other side of things. You see Valen thinking about the turret, throwing out that high tide, looking to get behind them, and LEV are left baffled in some of those spots, not anticipating the way the G2 are going to outplay them. And force to force, they're down 2-11.
It's a full investment, it needs to be, and a full stack towards A as well. They're not holding anything back. There's no hiding of the intent, just trying to lurk players up, trying to catch those cheeky timings, instead fully barreling their way forward. It's all trying to be expected and anticipated, but a spam go on one side here.
They know where Aspas loves to play.
Yeah, right at the top, you can feel him just raining bullets down onto that spot, forcing him to back away as well. It's all off angles being played again. LEV just trying to hunt and fight towards the back of the side here. Finding the mark, it's Aspas finally online. Here and now, leaves it up to Trent, but they're all being faced in the end, so LEV salvage it.
A lifeline for them. But how much longer can you hold on? Can you really chain this many rounds together? You see already that G2 are very aware of how Aspas likes to play on this map. They've avoided his operator perfectly, masterfully on the previous half. Now what they have to deal with is Aspas' aggressive post-plant positions. Loves to play on top of Generator, loves to push into spawn through the rafters, loves to play on top of screens. I think that's going to be the big battle of this half. How much can Aspas do, and how much can G2 stop him from getting that value?
An easy setup here for Leviathan. Got to keep stringing these rounds together to even stand a chance here. It is an open site. A lot of util being used. Potentially some sound cues as well being heard by Valen. He's making a call, and the rotation is abound by G2. Starting to get some bodies now onto the B site.
There isn't very much weaponry here. It should be a bit of a freebie for LEV.
Walls on the drop as well. They're actually hunting out some of these players, maybe trying to catch a timing against them. All right, there is very little chance here for G2.
But LEV need to be building up towards some large ultimate. It's Mazzino that's the closest. Only one away now. That's pretty huge.
Yeah, just going hunting for it still. It's pretty evenly spread, like you said, though. One away from that big ult from Mazzino. Potentially something to play with.
Definitely. I think if they can get that online, they can certainly make a play happen. Alternatively, you want to be thinking about, are G2 going to look to be playing around that orb, but should we try something different? Do a 1-3-1, for example, and try to exploit mid control. You know, you've got to be trying to think one step ahead of what Valent's anticipating. He's already showcased in the first 12 rounds. He's way ahead of you when the sides are flipped. Battle of the minds here. What do LEV go for? Early A pressure and slip these two up mid, perhaps? Now just throwing the Viper Orb and resetting into a 1-1-3. Quite standard here, maybe just looking to play Mazzino for the Orb.
An early Nano Swarm that was up and over as well does not remove the turret from mid, as was intended by LEV. Again, a lot of A pressure. Still with the spike leaning over towards this direction. They don't have all their players here though. Still holding for a deep push and flank out. Potentially just being scarred, I think, by Valin and that deep push he did onto the pistol. Cove's now committed, one with a plan.
This is nice. Anticipating that G2 are going to be playing off-site because of that Reckoning. They just take the plant for free and have Reckoning for post. Good identification of the way that G2 are going to be looking to play, and King's on the late lurk.
Spas heavily committed. Reckoning has to be committed as well, just to help him out. Big reveal. Start spotting the twos, spraying away. Mazzino not getting punished, at least from not letting the rifle reset here. Backing away now, trying to play this post a little bit better here with a Cove. Broken and bursted, still the kill. It's coming in here for G2. Wingman, it's online, up and over the rocks as well. It's still being diffused as well, despite the fact that Icy was dropped from behind the flank. It's King to deny and delay, trying to land that kill, and finally goes his way.
Important round to get on the board there for Leviathan. A really great read from King. A well put together attack side call from him. They take a free A site, recognizing that G2 are playing off. And you saw the value of that Reckoning in the post plan. It allowed Aspas to play so much more aggressively, or at least have his safety on site in those kind of spots. And then that timing from King could not have been at a better spot. It did look a little bit shaky, but he cleaned things up. Second highest rated player of Americas behind Aspas so far.
Almost missing that one.
Valin, he went for the tank. You very, very rarely see people try to ego check that and go for the orb anyway.
Little timing just slightly off, so Valin survives, but barely.
It does deny the ult from Con.
Drones committed nice and early here from LEV, but different look to the round from them. Normally they're very all in.
Toxin screen down.
This time, a bit more patience being played.
You see Tex, Com, watching in spawn, looking to see whether a push-up like this has happened. Deep off angle.
Whoa, okay, Com was
ready.
barely ready for that one still. Jonah P not able to get a kill off the back of it. Big committal, and out in the open as well. There's no wall to prop themselves up in the danger zone ever so slightly for LEV. You can feel it going amiss in terms of their protocols, but at least they're winning the fights out.
And I think that's the key for this team. They have been looking to try to play looser. If Tex gets on the warpath like he did against Crew, there is a chance that comebacks could happen.
Left.
Maybe not on this map, but certainly looking towards Bind Ascent. And LEV are going to give it a good shot here too.
One round at a time, as long as you deal with these players up onto the flank. Putting the pressure down onto him. Weakened up Valin. Going walkabouts though into the spawn, but facing it together. So very committed in terms of the ideas that LEV were going for, making sure that they all played together for that one. That was against the anti, or at least the eco, half by round for G2. This time, a lot of ults being earned up. Weapons too.
This next round is going to be a blockbuster. Huge ultimates on both sides. Tex one away from lockdown. I mean, both of the Killjoys having access to that. Sova ults on both sides as well, so there's the additional mind games of both ults being able to be countered.
Yeah.
Just myriad different ways that both teams could try to play this setup. And it's King really in the driving seat as the attack side IGL. How he wants to play the pace, where he wants to put the pressure.
The round might get messy. Yet to find out and see.
Ultimate ready.
Deep drone down mid. Being expended here by G2.
Reactive so far from G2 as well. They were looking to clear out mid. Now they rotate over towards B. The response to all of this pressure.
The calling of LEV this entire time, making noise over towards B. Similar game plans to what we saw in the prior round. Tex and King still grouped up, side by side, looking to see if they can gain any space. Towards A, maybe call a potential pivot. It's a Reckoning that's offloaded. Cascade as well. This really does feel like it's going to be trying to land over towards B again, but G2 have players committed into mid. I'm beginning to read that this isn't exactly what it seems.
But at the same time, I think the space has already been gained. If Tex falls, that would be a problem for LEV. But otherwise, G2 just looking to play a bit of a retake here.
Oh, Tex has wandered way too far.
Way far up.
Head of the curve. To his own dismay, it's down to that rifle lane. King, he will deliver. Dropping down two, so that Hunter's Fury is causing issues in the movement. Barely enough to get out of there. Aspas survives into the mix now. 3 versus 3. Comes still with the ult, and he's playing this one far back as well. That's the insurance policy into the back pocket. What is going to be the play by G2 as well. Bodies will topple and fall. Still getting a few players onto this one, at least with the wingman. Onto the fuse. He committed. That's the acknowledgement broken. At least with just the one burst. Aspas holding for the deeper push as well, just spotting it. Top of the head, top of the cranium, just can't quite land it as well. Movement, a jar, finally there with a preempt. Trent sticking all the way through. And there was no plan in sight for Leviathan. Just didn't quite have the extra level to it.
Match point.
I called it when I saw Tex going forwards, but that I think was a big error. King did an amazing job in the post plan there, but when Tex dies, it gives Trent a free overall to be able to use. He doesn't need to save it for any kind of post plan lockdown. So when Tex falls, suddenly you see this massive Reckoning overall combo come through, slicing its way through Leviathan and allowing the rest of G2 to take aggressive positions. Putting Aspas and Com in a very difficult spot. LEV would now need 6 in a row. But G2 have taken an eco round here just to make sure that they don't force and make things more difficult for themselves.
Yeah, playing it for long-term focus. And grab the win round a little bit later down the line. Aspas, this is incredibly committal. Part of the course of this guy. My Swarm's not doing a job there to push back the plant, so we're going that extension into the round as well. Deep flank here. The P, again, looking to potentially pressure from the side as well. G2 now sending in waves the util. Committal here. The lockdown by LEV, just trying to push them back in a way as well. What is the plan in place for G2?
They're looking to pinch Com from both sides. Look at this protocol to clear out the lurker. Gorgeous stuff. Recognition, no Sova utility. Let's go and find where Com is.
Gonna have to get a move on here. Time is against them. There's of the essence in this spot right here. Committed positions out from Mazzino, off angle, spraying him down, at least with it. Nana Swarms delaying, denying as well, even more. Time has been brought up against him again. It's up that narrow margin, half onto it, sticking all the way, but every single player falling. It was down to the wire. Even if Wingman got the full stick, I don't think it was even possible for them. Still, LEV alive.
G2 weren't even trying to win that round. They came into it with an eco buy and didn't use their lockdown. They almost won. They nearly just closed it out right there on a thrifty. Clearly, they need to be disguising these com lurks a little more. And I think playing more aggressive post-plan positions too, to make sure that G2 can't just swarm into back of sight like that. This is the round that matters for G2. They're going to be investing economy, ults. And immediately, Viper's Pit used on B.
Real difficult one to get yourself through here with the drone. There's no committal. Only a few bullets just to accompany it. Off to the side as well. No lucky kill that they were hoping for. Donor P's not dropped, so the pit stays up.
G2 have been playing mostly retake on the A side. They haven't really pushed anybody deep towards Nest. Haven't been playing on-site crossfires. LEV could get a read, but they can just walk up. Instead, going towards mid. All a battle of timings.
Yeah, it is once more, isn't it? Drone. It's a deep committed angle. Off to the corner as well. Icy just bodyguarding as well. He was right there behind him. A lot of noise being made as well. It's a scurry with the footsteps. Potentially a bit of acknowledgement there for G2 as well. They are holding. Most of their team, in fact, just watching for a cross up into mid as well, but maybe expecting it in a different position. Spikes over towards A. Space again given up here to Tex, but he can't overstep himself. Not again. This is the defining moment. There's only 34 seconds left and just strikes. Rapid approach, backs away now, playing with the rest of the team, and across and away, over an attempt to punish. Here's a lockdown. Ults now being laid up, one after the other. The Thrash Entertainment off into the corner, needs to be, he's bodyguarded off to the side. Dizzy, dealt with, Aspas! That is just elite still. The flooding, fast. into the thick of it, off to the side, Jonah P. That's snappy, and the pressure is definitely on. Icy already applying it. Quick little tab at the defuse as well. Kills need to flood in and through. Jonah P needs to be dealt him off from the side. They do finally take care of him, down to just one. Trent not able to catch it into the cross. A tap again, but they know he's not on it. It's even evident, and a 3-2-1 swing is good enough for LEV and good enough for the round win. They are stringing this together.
My ult's not ready.
And Tex has managed to wake up and start hitting shots like he did yesterday. And he's dominating some of these rounds of 4K in it. Pretty lucky one from Aspas in the middle of all of that as well. But on top of all of this, Tex is going so far forwards. He's the player that's exploring through A. He's the player taking the risk and finding out that the site's open. He's also not putting the turret for the flank, so he allowed Jonah P in through the back. He needed to make up for it in the front by hitting those shots, because he created that gap, wasn't watching things for the rest of his team. Reminder that G2 took an eco round in order to make round 20 their decisive final blow. And now they're forced onto another eco here.
Yeah. Ult's being committed as well into the prior.
Yeah, things are starting to slip away from G2's iron grip that they had on this map earlier on.
Here.
This one just trying to hold. Oh, my goodness! The shot just barely missing. It's a haircut given to Mazzino.
And I think that's indicating the kind of loss of grip we're talking about with G2.
It's tumultuous.
Poison's off.
Jonah P. He's committed. Drone as well, potentially giving him that extra information. It's broken. There's two rifles ring out as well. It gives him a bit of an indicator to play it. That's a shot to swing off. I mean, cooking up plays on the fly. G2, surely this is not how you win a round. This is not how you close out a map, not in any sort of typical fashion, but why not? When the Sheriff's online, when the shots are hitting,
30 seconds left.
time is what you make of it. Already, how is Jonah P getting this value? 2 versus 2. Damage done to Mazzino. All it takes is the tiniest of breezes to bring him down. It's a tap to force him out into the open. G2 on the precipice, on the cusp, and that's how they finish it. A thrifty to close it all out. The discipline wasn't there, and if there's anything G2 are good at, it's going to be punishing sloppy play, individuals trying to get a bit reckless.
Yeah, and I think we're in a unique position because we can see the entire minimap, whereas Irapada only saw things from Lev's perspective.
Yeah.
I think Irapada may not have quite realized just how much of a read G2 had on them.
It was almost perfect all throughout that first half, but new beginnings here for map 2. If you're Leviathan, you got to get it out of your minds here. King pushed them back with the early molly. Again, he's still committed into this spot as well. It's not an easy exit for him. He's tucked to the corner to Dizzy, and an explosion to just committed right out and through. Double players up through the TP as well. Cut to the corner. But again, the adjustments, the micro aim adjustments, G2 have locked them in place. Just like that.
I can't believe that G2 have got out of that one alive. I don't know what the timing was, but it looked perfection. Aspas is going to do his best to try to recover things. He's got some hookah control. Can he play Mazzino back in? Latch onto Mazzino?
Yeah, again, he's just like caught up into the corner once more. And G2 happy to take up all the space. Even through the back of the halls, Aspas, they already know his position. They flipped the site entirely against him. They're not going to give him a chance or an option to get back into this.
It's
Anything
ridiculous.
G2 do, yeah, they're always going to be trying to make sure that they sync up these plays together. Snap P, adjustments. Off to the side again, but the plan is even just for backside. Who's going to take first contact for it? Valen knows he's off of it.
There's no time.
The circle shrinks, yeah, and so to the chances. Once more, G2. They twist and turn. You just cannot quite catch G2 unaware.
I don't understand it. King's got one side of hookah, hits 2 headshots on the players running towards him as they're funneled into hookah because of that beautiful sand crunch called from Leviathan. Love the call, love the timing, all perfect. How on earth is Icy able to pick that one up and then immediately kill Corp? I mean, he goes from being under pressure to completely winning his team the round in just a couple of quick seconds there, Icy. Didn't have the biggest impact on Icebox. Honestly, didn't have the biggest impact in their prior map to get them to play against, prior match, sorry, to get them to play against Leviathan. But we've seen recently what he's capable of. We've seen heights from Icy now that are just incredible. You see it in rounds like that on the pistol again.
Toxins going up.
G2 going to be calling for their heavy committal out towards B.
Toxin screen down.
Leaf is trying to catch a few players out through the TP as well. They might find it very difficult to remove this guy. He already just takes out two. Finally, the Thorn is removed.
He's the solo lurker with a ghost. He shouldn't be able to pick off two of you in that spot. But of course, it is just the eco for Leviathan.
Yeah. I'm cooking up a cheeky little play, seeing if they can get any sort of value out of it. But again, G2, you're going to see the same patterns repeating itself. I think it's just they are always going to be getting the right reads of what they want to do. It's the lack of hesitancy for me, I think, as well. The fact that everybody's on the same page so quickly. When they call a pause, everybody stops.
They're also phenomenal at... even Brimstone's cake isn't going to save you from that one. I think they're phenomenal at using the teleports on this map. That's one of the other things that I love about the way that Valorant calls. Quite reminiscent of watching Boaster or Finesse call on this map. Two of the best bind callers that we've ever seen in the game. Valin is right up there with them. And you know, at Champions, he'll have that opportunity to go toe-to-toe potentially with Boaster if the bracket deems it to see how his calling matches up with some of the absolute best right now.
Absolutely.
But it just looks like he's got such a mastery of creating these avenues out of danger.
And their playstyle right now, I mean, the way that G2 will funnel these players into them, force proactivity from the defense just so they can get information to work off of, and immediately strike back, punishing it. It's tricky to play against this current metagame as well, where it's very hard to sometimes call, and G2 are so good at always just hiding what they're going for at any point. Already, you can see it, you know, Prowler not getting any value, just about avoids it. Trailblazer now going to make it feel like they're putting some pressure up towards B long. King, deep molly as well. Jiggle spot as well, he's still committing over. Meanwhile, G2 also going walkabouts. Contacting, taking control. It's an off angle by Tex, but just moves away from it.
Aspas this entire time has been watching short with the op. This is where Leaf has the wall. Can try to put that up and apply some pressure.
Can scuttle past it. Makes it very difficult. It's too many angles to watch for already. Could have walked right past. Jump spot though from Trent. A little bit too overcommitted. And now to Util. He's going to sail straight through and pass it over to Satchel. Just barely getting these players out of dodge still. Icy's alive and kicking still. Aspas ult earned. It's in the back pocket now with a showstopper. Could be a key piece they use to try and push this back and apply the pressure right back to him. G2 only got 30 seconds left. Sees going to miss actually, rebounding right into them. I think that was comms to try and delay and deny. Leap the plan. There's nothing to push this back and away. Watching for the headshot angle. Just anybody to hop up onto that box. King, time needs to be bought. A noise needs to be made for him to get some value from that spot, but he is cleaned up. All sticking together now. Ult in the hands, noise being cut. Aspas is just hoping that it will force G2 to scurry away, but again they tuck tight to the corners and there is so much safety here for them, denying any opportunity. This swings is perfection in motion, man, and G2 make even the best teams feel like you're just dancing around them every single time. There's no value to be gained here. It's 3 in a row, a bonus round conversion. G2 cannot be stopped.
Players down didn't seem to make a difference. G2 getting value with stingers in spots you shouldn't see it. They lost Trent early on. What is that kill from Leaf onto Mazzino? What are these kills from Jonah P? That kill, to be able to pick up King, who was on the flank, is monumental. There's so many important duels going the way of G2 in the middle of a round where actually their calling had put them into a little bit of a tough spot. But winning the bonus puts enormous pressure onto Leviathan.
It's in a rare round where it's going to be that heavy committal from G2. They don't wait things out, not right now. Still, it's an ult. Goes wide and forwards and through. Still have to worry about these showers. Player Satchel up and over. Still, Icy's perched up, but he is vulnerable into this spot as well. There's too many angles to really account for him, but the smoke's in his face. Full committal by LEV now. They've got all the bodies in the right place, making sure that they can try and flood back into this one and fight it. Aspas is leading the charge, spearhead for the team, but again, forcing these players out wide and open, in through the showers, fighting in a slip mid around Mazzino from behind. Barely dead, still lands it. Everybody topples. How's Mazzino gone from whipping to whipping a 180 and doming the player that was flanking him there? Crazy round. But actually another one where G2's calling
puts them in a bit of a rough spot. I don't want to just be gassing up Valen the entire time, even, you know, depending on, no matter what the outcome is, essentially. This time, he takes his entire team down short, fast on an anti-eco round.
Exactly.
Doesn't give them a lurker so that there's an alternate option of popping through the sand teleport. So, got his team stuck in that position. And LEV immediately respond, coming out of the bonus loss with a Thrifty. The faster pace from G2 is not usually that successful. They, broadly speaking, save it for when they come out of attack timeouts, just to throw other teams off their rhythm.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, it's every single time that I can think back, they end up usually losing the round that they try and, you know, go a bit explosive, just trying to condition that they're playing slow the entire time, hoping that the defense will be spread. But that was the wrong time to do it. We've already seen and noted with LEV winning that one onto the Thrifty, turning things back around now. Potentially the momentum that they needed. Jonah P making himself known. Some spot, no damage done to Icy on either side, just spots out the opposing raise. That's Aspas. TP pivot now. It's that Shower's control that was theirs, but again, they do have to crunch these players. Mazzino feeling quite a lot of the pressure coming his way. A lot of that util preventing the evacuation, but he finally finds a bit of safety out through the back of the site. And a deep reflank occurring from LEV. Two players up onto the flank. Viper's Pit now to try and offset this. G2 very defensive. Jonah P can hear all of this, and the off angle not expected again. Wide in the face. King will deliver at least with the trade. There's a molly at his feet. The timing's not good enough. Just tries to get straight past it and ahead. Aspas up and over, around and away. But again, they got to deal with this pit, and it's just causing too much confusion into the fight. Crom left to do a lot. Trent's still locking it down very short. The tap from Mazzino, but all it takes is a bit of spraying and praying and a deal with any sort of intruders.
LEV are just getting bounced around here, going from losing the bonus, winning a big Thrifty, putting in a almost checkmate scenario again. I'm not surprised to see a Leviathan tack timeout coming through here. Not at all. If Itapada came into this map thinking, we fixed things up, we got the momentum, we kind of stabilized at the end of Icebox, yeah, we're going to be good for Bind, I think he's now going to be doubting that assessment. 5 rounds in here on Bind.
Definitely has been missing ever so slightly. I mean, I don't know the numbers particularly for this map.
That G2 are thrown in as extra wrinkles to the round. And round 5 ended up being massively important because G2 not only now have economy advantage, but they're getting up to huge ults that they can build entire game plans around. And this one actually looks like a pretty quick take-up B long, just judging by G2's position.
Yeah, very committed. LEV's investment is all over the place here. Aspas still obviously holding on to this operator.
Back to me.
They do have a lot of space down through short. Even pings on the map almost indicating they want to go for a little bit more. But this is the push ahead here by G2. Thrash couldn't be followed up, just waiting out for the tether. There is that detainment into the corner. Orbital strike as well, push them back in the way. That's a spike a minute, Valen! Couldn't run away from it. He was seeking safety, at least with the TP, and this is G2 in a pretty precarious spot. They have to explode out into this one and try and take these fights. Brute force on display, but King locking it down. Molly's at the feet, and that's overwhelming. They shut it down before it can even get started.
It's the wrong read again for G2. They tapped the pickup of the Dizzy there, expecting LEV to be going for an aggressive defense re-clear of B long. Remember on Icebox, Valen's idea about what LEV were doing was correct every single time. This time, LEV go for a re-clear of short when Valen's expecting them to do a big re-clear of B long. They thrash, they realize there isn't anybody close, and they actually end up getting caught in a bit of a rough spot there. Both teams, I think, missing the read on each other here on Bind in a way that wasn't really present on Icebox.
Bit of danger here for Aspas. Up into this spot as well. He's going to have to back away from that with a wall up.
Look at Icy
face as well. Walking away. Mazzino left to cover.
Look at Icy all the way up B long. He's got himself deep into this pit. Going to have only a single point of health to work with. But could he potentially find King exploring outwards?
King looks like he's expecting at least part of it. He steps forward as well with the decay damage. All he needs is just a single shot.
That's good info for Icy.
Yeah. Icy's been pushed as well into this deep corner as well. I don't think this is going to be expected at all. King walks straight into it. Pits drop down. That's beautiful. And it's a massive opening now. It leaves it all down to Crom. He's a solo anchor. He's got to weather the storm. Buffer himself past and away from him. But look at the utility. You can't stand your ground. Not against that. You have to give it up. And so, backs away now. Still with the weaker weapons for G2, but plenty of tools at their disposal, definitely to turn the tide. And with that orbital strike, it's going to be committed into elbow here. Bit of spam at the bullets, they forced this fight out and at least isolated Com, picked up the weapon, and a call is made to move forwards to pack mentality. And they're ripping LEV apart. Through the back of the side, it's Aspas and Tex, they have to reclaim every part of this. The half clearance again, and Aspas is left to do the most still. A blessing in disguise here. Rocket into his hands. Half onto the fuse, here's the footsteps, noise bait, jump spot again. A tap. Now the committal, Aspas knows it. The Wincons has to get half, at least for even a chance in hell, but he doesn't know if he's being pressured. Rifle picked up and away, drifting back and forth. They know he's not on it. Leap again, tapping and swinging around we go. G2, a thrifty win to close that one out.
And what phenomenal game plans to set up those first 2 picks. Icy takes an early timing deep into King's ult, and then they additionally have the Trailblazer on top to push King fully out of his pit and allow Icy to capture him once he tries to go back in. And then this orbital strike that pushes Com away and forces him as the Brim Smoke's about to go down. I mean, the timing could not be better in order to take G2 into a 5v3 that they then scrappily closed out. Isolating Aspas as the final player alive. He's 12-4, but he can't win the round. Quiet descends over Bind as tensions rise. LEV have gone for a bit more of a trap play, playing off Aspas's contact here. They've got to anticipate that G2 are going to be using utility to take B long, because that's how they've generally been going for it. A Trailblazer or a Dizzy, something like that. And Com is trying his best to get information on the opposite side of the map.
Contacting up, no util. 1-for-1, backing away. Scurrying at the footsteps as well as a noise bait by Tex. He's still committed into this one. And Jonah P, he's happy for it, man. Willing to rip away another player.
Both players super confident. Both been playing incredibly well in recent matches. Jonah comes out on top.
With a player down for LEV. In this particular spot again, a lot's going to be asked of the remaining 3. Even Com as well, looking for that information. Any signs of life here. Very committed and extended out towards Showers as well. Just needs to play his life here. Potentially risks need to be taken. He's already pushed up straight past this one inside the smoke. Spike's going to be stuck and committed. Com! Where's he seen that one from? Spam down though. It's a trade in sight still. 2 left to stand here for LEV. The potential is there for them to try and salvage. Molly slightly delayed. Mazzino's not going to be able to delay and deny that. Spike going down.
They're looking for King.
And King spotted. Still with the movement though this time. It's working rings around them. But spotted again on the reaggress, the cross once more. So it's Mazzino left into that 1v2. It's an orb up into his face. Too many obstacles really, surely, to account for. Yeah, half clearance into the corner. Tight Leaf will be able to deliver that final blow. 6-2 now. That scoreline once more, it's so familiar to that icebox that we saw. All the momentum here for G2.
We're talking a lot recently about how G2 are a little underrated. And I think that that respect is starting to grow. It's starting to materialize. In terms of individuals, I'm still not hearing enough people talk about how important Jonah P has been for this team recently. His performance at Shanghai was keeping them in it early on in the tournament, allowing them to go on that run. And he's just been there for every important duel, winning that fight against Tex, closing things out against the King flank. He's always there, covering these gaps for G2. They're in control again of the attack half. LEV trying to get unorthodox with their defensive re-clears.
This angle though. Seen a few players in this spot here still going, walking further forwards, just encroaching into territory that they potentially don't have, yet still will get rewarded. King forced to back away here, and at least there's an ult forced out as well, out of Icy. He wanted to respond back here. Fuse are going to be running out just in time. Still tucked to the corner. Oh no, pre-fired. Running him down. What?
Mazzino?
How the hell has he got that?
That's so unlucky for Mazzino.
Yeah.
But still, Leviathan in the 3v2. King's done his job.
It's definitely made it winnable. But Aspas is that lone player sitting onto the side. I've been worried about the Showers players. Aspas back in position once more. Has that control out towards Lampsia. Thrash with a detainment is the best chance they've ever had. Jonah P seeks to delay and at least try and save, but it's not possible. The angle wasn't watched for. Aspas just wrapping it all the way around from the side there. There's a third one on the board for Leviathan. They needed that.
It feels like the left defense lives or dies by whether these pushes on defense are getting anything done. In this situation, they find perfect timing onto Trent and Lee, catching them both very unawares. And then also Icy missing where King was playing, but still rewarded with one. A bizarre situation, but it puts Leviathan at their third round. It's very difficult to see LEV going further and further up the scoreboard, to be honest.
Yeah.
With the manner in which they're being able to get rounds. But, you know, there's something here, and they're knocking the economy of G2. It's just really tough to see them get those timings consistent.
The question is, how many rounds do they need? I mean, if Icebox was anything to judge, definitely going to be more well-suited when themselves going to get themselves onto that attack side. What is occurring here? And kills that we missed, but King was happy to hold it down out towards Hookah. Flash up and over the top as well, just adjusting the aim for it, but they are happy to oblige into the battle, into the fray. And the fight taking one out of here. Duels finally left, getting their confidence back.
King has been holding that aggressive position in Hookah pretty confidently for the entire map on Bind. This time he gets rewarded with 2. Did G2 not use enough utility perhaps, or were these the players without rifles? Yeah, Valen didn't really have the weaponry to trade out Icy in that spot. King's given a bit of an easier 2K, but still, good performance from this IGL of Leviathan. Came into this game again as the second highest rated player in Americas.
Which is, I mean, unheard of for somebody in a calling position.
He's done it before in the past, but we've always been critical of his actual calling. We know how much he can frag. But Lev's defensive setups, prior to this match, you couldn't have doubted them. And yet, Valen's consistently finding holes, and he's going to look to do so again.
Nightfall will definitely push any ideas of trying to commit over towards an A hit. Looks like they were set up for it as well with the util that was out in their hands.
Didn't look like a full commitment, though, down short. Valen has, however, used all of his smokes, so perhaps I'm wrong with that assessment. Maybe G2 were hoping they could just sail through.
Yeah.
Com has mostly been playing towards showers, so they might not have anticipated that fade in lamps.
The right answers are there for Lev. Still, Com, I believe, holding out the tether. As soon as the wall goes up, this is great to punish. Big connection, but the bullets running down onto them. There's safety. Just cowering themselves back and away here. This off angle by Aspas is vitally important. And it's all about a clearance. Leaf expecting it. At least with that anticipation, maybe he's created an opening. Still, G2, they don't want to shy away from this fight. Out towards A now with just 30 seconds left. It's a full committal, even though the players are here to receive. Lev crossed up now. Com still with control. Out towards it. Can't deny the plant, though. He's the one who's dropped. Mazzino, surely you don't go for this as well. He's just walking out into the open, raining down with the bullets, and his head just pops out and over. Enough for Trent to pluck it off his head.
G2 managed to win this round with no smokes. Valen had already used them on that failed execute that got cancelled by the Nightfall. I'm looking at the position of Aspas, of Tex. Aspas on an off angle, Tex playing Heaven, that you can't smoke off.
Yeah.
And yet both of those players fell in an instant. Good anticipation of where Aspas was going to play from Leave. And then Icy just swings short and deletes Tex.
My ultimate
King
is ready.
with a couple of fairly useless kills, to be honest. We're in round 11. There's a bit of damage done there, but
Yeah, we'll see how the money looks at.
I think Valen can pick up a weapon from Icy and or Trent, to be honest, and I think they'll be fine.
Round before.
But yeah, this kill where Icy, I mean, Tex getting caught by the flash there from the look of things too. It's a bit of an error. But yeah, economy is still pretty good for G2 heading into the final round. Ult's better as well for the attacking side. Aspas, again, picks up the operator, looking to try to be the savior. If he got a pick, he would have Showstopper, but they're not going towards him.
No, it looks like a full committal over towards A. From their positions, it's a boom bot, it's a thrash, it's all going to be used to try and clear out this pid. And guess what? Entertainment onto the 2, it's an orbital strike. They are just waddling and wading through it, but then microwave to death. And splitting it all the way up. There's no lacking of the map control here. Fully in control of the front section of A. There needs to be a response from Lev here. It's the final round here of the half. They're trying to take the fight forwards into the approach again, but Mazzino traded out. Can't quite do it. It's bullets firing all the way down as well. Tick's barely able to evade most of it here. Second round of things with the thrash. Entertainment not quite there. Just about avoided. Dizzy in their faces. Flashed up. There's the acknowledgement. And Icy's keen for it. Even keener aim still will be required. Still, Aspas is there. Now with a showstopper. Up and over once more. Pre-fires into the corner. But too much to do, surely. Too much to overcome. Triangular depth is a setup around him. 8-4 will be the finish in terms of the score. G2. These guys can't be stopped.
Once more, the attack side looks indomitable. Valen's got to be considered one of, if not the best attack side IGL that we have in the game right now. Once we get to Champions, he's going to be going up against the best of this year. But I think what he's done so far in Americas since Shanghai, I mean, including Shanghai as well. I seriously think, you know, G2, they only lost to the finalists at Shanghai. And I think right now they look better than they did during that run. They've only continued to make improvements.
I couldn't agree more. I think lessons have been learned from that moment here.
On the pistol round, as you attack G2 over towards B long, you've got to recognize that they're going to fall back into high-low setups. They do this pretty constantly.
Or double flash fight. I mean, Blind's potentially connecting there, but pre-fire necessary, dropping one of the players.
Look at the walkout from Valorant.
Yeah, this is very committed. Here's many footsteps here. Just didn't quite know what to aim for.
Good read, though. Great read from Leviathan. They got players anti-flash for that play down B long, and then they recognize Valin. Very good anticipation. That's what we've been missing from Lev.
And just cutting noise. Still bodies are being shown here. Lev ready to try and swarm and overwhelm this one. That's a committal into the TP. They don't have prior control of this one. And that might bite them from behind. Icy is the one who's just looking to make his mark. No, and shots rattled. 3 necessary, at least to just clean up Mazzino. Backside control fully gained up here, but across, not watchful. Leaf is quick onto it. Tanted back and at least traded here, but still 2v3.
They don't know where the retakers are coming from, though.
Exactly, it's perilous. Precarious. Here for G2 now, still doubled up. Same could be said for Lev, though, and they want to try and take this fight. Any way you slice it. Again, still doubled up and backing away once more here. Puts Icy with a difficult task ahead of him. Got to overcome this one here, and it's a high-low setup, just crouched up, one below the other. Necessary to deal with these G2 players when they've been getting away with so much here, but it's a pistol round on the board, at least for Lev, and maybe signs of life.
I'm out.
A really important pistol. Absolutely. Not only that, but they did manage to keep that gap of G2 running away with things on their attack side much closer this time on Bind than it was on Icebox. And I wasn't that impressed with what G2 were putting together on their defense of Icebox. They ran pretty much the same strat. Retake A setups, allowing Lev to just walk in. If Lev can put together a really nice attack side, could still have a game. G2 looking like they want to set up for a showers crunch. If Icy takes any contact.
Yeah, this pretty standard stuff that you see from teams on the eco. Yeah, using the TPs, take away the orbs.
It's a little bit of a bait play as well here. Yeah. Makes it feel like B's very weak, but there's still a couple of players.
Just trying to take some bite, I think, out of the war machine. The ability for the attack side to generate those ults so easily. A lot of TPs occurring all over the place here. I mean, it seems like neither team knowing which way to commit into it. Inside the TP right behind them. They do manage it. Dropping the congestion.
Smoke's down.
Another TP from behind, that's Icy.
Aspas looking for the kill. Getting on that showstopper. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Lev.
He'll be happy with that one here, Trent. Potentially not willing to give away his life, honestly, with how close Aspas is up to that big ult.
Spots his former teammate over there, Tex. Decides to back away from things. Aspas looking like he wants to go on the hunt. Aspas's fragging has still been really, really strong. That's what's kind of scary here, is that G2 have still been in control of this game, despite the fact that Aspas is having that superstar level impact. They've just kind of made sure that the kills aren't as impactful. Not always the first kill, not always those important mid-round kills that stop G2 from going in a certain direction. But yeah, I mean, Aspas is sat at 19 and 8 currently. You don't normally get those kind of fragging stats from him without being in the lead.
One of the rare times where he's really not, but he's doing all he can. Potentially get to that grand finals as well. He's the only player left in our playoffs, really, that can potentially lift that trophy again.
Toxins going up.
The honor and prestige that comes with winning Americas to be the best in your region. Still on the table, of course. Never really just slowing this one down. They'd have no other options across the rest of the map here. It's all 5 players up through A short. They're just slowing it down for a moment, but now going for the committal. Trailblazer used in response. That clears out most of the shower. It's going to give G2 a bit of peace of mind as well, knowing that nobody's playing into that spot. Might even just seeking to try and delay this one. That's Valorant. A bit of run and gun. Just punishing that one as they're just trying to get onto the line of side angles, out through lamps and away. It's jumping up and around. Mazzino just barely alive. Down to the double digits. Dizzy being used as well and committed. King cleaning up. Jonah P. That was a necessary one as well. Losing control slowly of the map here, but over the top as well. That's not smoked up. LEV, this guy is working miracles for them. Now the rest of the team going to be grouping up here. 2 left to stand here for LEV. Tex lurking his way around. Almost a miracle again. It's King. Beautiful, beautiful precision on display, but not enough here. G2 just about surviving. 2 rifles staying alive into the next 2.
I think LEV can feel fairly happy about the damage that they did on the bonus, but at the same time, it looked scrambled in the post plant. It looked like people didn't exactly know which spots they wanted to fall back to, which crossfires they wanted to play. They were trying to still be active, and in the end, they ended up running into LEV. He gets a double kill from Heaven here, with players swinging out into the open in spots where they probably don't have to be that active. Like I said, though, a bit of damage done, and G2 are going to be coming into round 16 with a Stinger and a Guardian. So the bonus round, to some degree, a success.
I see, though, sole job really to try and hold back this push. Oh my God, body blocked into the corner or what? But I'm not too sure. Drop down to 5 ounces. A Thrash. It's committed a second wave of things here. Icy presses forward. It's entertainment. Up inside the smoke, needs to be defended. Rifle in hand. Com will live up to that expectation. They needed to happen.
How is Aspas alive?
He's lucky to be so. Spike committed as well. That was G2 just looking to punish. They're even going for another reaggress out through B long. It's going to be giving them a lot of mid-round information to work with.
Ready.
Depending on the direction that LEV go into as well, might get punished for it, but we'll see. Again, could come down to these timings. Grouped up, LEV looking like they might want to commit down towards A. It's being watched. King aware that there's
Toxins going up.
these avenues that are open. But now looking the other direction, walls up, contacting. Valen to hold them back. It's an off angle. Aspas leading the charge as well. He's low enough here. Right balls! Spraying away. Valen's still getting 2. And these players looking from behind. There's only 20 seconds left into the round here. You can feel the uncertainty just settling into LEV. They don't know where they can even be possibly coming from here. Jonah P just wraps it around from the side as well. Needs some help now, being just ran down all the way through Mazzino. Doesn't know where to expect a second. Spike has to be committed to tap onto the plan. Hoping that it pushes LEV out into the open, but he will be happy once more to take the fight. Steps into the action. And 4 rounds now being the difference between these teams, but G2 potentially getting away with it.
King has got himself up to 21 kills, but it's the IGL on the other side, Valorant, that pulls off this play. A bit of spam on a weaker Aspas, 5 health. But to be able to get the person looking to trade that duelist as well for 2 in lamps changes the tide of this round utterly. A 4-player stack over towards B.
What a read is this? I mean, you're going to be met with the overwhelming might of Leviathan. Tomas into the corner, showstopper committed. Aspas will not clear the corner up, but still flashed up as well. LEV, they can finally barrel their way through. A path has been paved up into the site, but they're not accounting for this octagon. Flash, it's perfect. Jonah B! The professor in action, man. He schooled them.
Sick round from Jonah, and also a sick read. They make it feel like they're playing over Octagon, so that they force Aspas to throw the showstopper out and path as if he's punishing only 2 players in Garden. And instead they've got people tucked around Hookah.
Taken out.
Those cause the distraction, allow Jonah to stay alive. That, to me, looks like a hard ante on what Aspas likes to do with his showstopper and what LEV, in general, like to do on those offensive rounds. You think about it from Aspas's perspective, if you see that...
Man, and so G2, you know, you see these players, you maybe don't think of them as like these heavy hitters, but it's all about the impact. The game IQ is kind of off the charts, honestly, for a lot of these G2 players. They always know roughly the right play to be making at a given point in time, even when they're at a disadvantage. It's been evident this entire series. They lose a player, it doesn't matter. They're always finding ways to somehow wrangle back control.
LEV going for a slightly slower approach to this one. G2 with big ultimates to work around as well. Orbital Strike is going to cause a lot of time pressure if LEV play the entire round this slowly. G2 have also been picking their timings to go for defensive aggression better than LEV. And look at this again, G2 trying to explore short. This time, LEV with a bit of a read. Big clash.
Yeah, contacting up into the fight. Swaz an Orbital Strike. That's an attempt to relieve some pressure. No punish though. Not even a push forwards as well, what they were hoping for, hopefully, that overextension of these players. But LEV are finally finding themselves in a good spot. It's an ult pulled out, it's a first kill earned. It's all about converting from this point on. Dizzy, that spots it. Thrash, it's committed. As soon as they get that acknowledgement, it's spam down though, defended. Valen, he was there with the molly and with the rifle play.
This a fake though, just trying to keep players anchored over towards B.
A horn sent flying into the back of the side. Satchels as well. Cuts up the crosshair placement.
30 seconds left.
LEV can't withstand it. Has to back away here.
Okay.
Giving up the sight now forward. It's a TP by IC.
Spike planted.
It's out. Boombot wasn't broken.
Welcome.
There's one side of things here. The squeeze is coming out now. TP, reinforcement arriving here for G2. Still worried about the potential. They're being a lurker, but it's a crossfire setup to get through. And what util do they have? Trailblazer. These should be good enough. Takes on the movement. That's nice. Just slightly ajar. Still G2 are not going to be slowing down their own approach. Off from the side here. Get a bit of a pincer going, but they need these Hookah players to start putting in some impact, or do they? It's barreling over, brute force, and again the distractions necessary to try and win it. Still, to pit in their face. A tap. Forcing these players out from the wide open space. No way, adjustment, Valen, ridiculous. It's magnetic in the moment, sticks it to half, Wind God's hurt, and a round, 1 out. That is ludicrous. What is that?
G2 cannot be winning rounds in this kind of way.
Match point.
The break on the Hookah hold is impressive enough. Throwing flashes in for Valen to sweep around the front. But honestly, King's ultimate on site there ends up ruining them because G2 are afforded so much of the space around the pit. Eventually, King and Aspas have to come and check this spike. How has he won it?
I don't know how he's that cool, calm and collected there towards the end, man. That's ice cold from Valen.
1 round away from being able to take his team to the grand finals here, as they were in stage 2. Stage 1, apologies. Again, making it through Leviathan, but that one through the lower bracket. Oh, icy spotted.
Oh, punish. It's for the Guardian.
And so if they want to do it, it's going to be a 4v5 in round 19.
Yeah, in this case, though, LEV will be hanging on. Tenacity is there with this team. Never willing to give up too much. G2. Potential's there for a play as well, but might get caught by King once more. Calls to the group up, though. This one looks like a heavy committal. Xeno's got an orbital strike to work with. They can use that to clear a lot of that space. Might give them peace of mind, and yeah, it's going to be committed. So, out towards Lamp here. Finally gets to move on. Uses the stimmy to evacuate and through and out. Nade sails up and over. Jonah P so fast under this line. Adjustment! Control needs to be maintained here, but flash into the face. G2 on top of them all. It's a 12 round, and one more step is all that's needed, and one player is all that stands between it. A grand finals appearance for G2. They'd love to have it to right the wrongs of stage 1.
And it's Tex. How much more poetic could it get? The player removed from G2 at the beginning of the year has to do it all with only 10 seconds.
On, man. They know exactly where he is, and G2 won't give him anything at all. 13-6, a 2-0 finish. That's dominance, man. It's a massacre.